Okay, guys, I'm back to talk about Nintendo and their new system and the games. Because, yeah, there's a lot of problems going on with the games here. I kind of want to talk about it. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell. If you guys haven't already, you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You guys can follow me on there. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and actually talk about this. So Nintendo, like I said, we had that Nintendo Direct, and we had the new Nintendo Switch coming out. And a lot of things looked very good. A lot of things looked very good on the Switch. A lot of things did. A lot of things looked very good until we were revealed, we revealed some stuff that did not look very promising, and I have to agree, I don't like the fact that you have to, pay for an SD card. Yeah, you gotta pay for a whole new SD card to play it. You can't use the old SD card. So with the 3DSs and DSs, the DSis, I don't think that the DS Lites had any SD cards, but you'd be able to, use your old SD cards and all that. They're making you buy a whole freaking new one, which is kind of stupid. Not to mention, they're not just a card, but they're wanting you to download all these, they have all these games from the Switch 1, but want you to pay more to add more stuff, so, some DLC or something. I don't know, what's going on there, and it's a pretty big, it's kind of all over the place here. We don't really know much about the console, what itself. We know that it's gonna have FaceTime and all that, kind of like Snapchat and all that. It's gonna have stuff like that, but it's gonna have things like that. But we don't really know a lot, what the camera is gonna be like on the system and all that. But I was gonna say, the whole Switch 2 thing, I was actually looking forward to it. It didn't look super promising in the Direct. It looked good, but not, super promising. But what makes me not really, what makes me very, and, a lot of other people kind of look at it, is the freaking prices. The prices are, horrible. They are horrible in this. They are horrible. Yeah, I don't know why, but they're horrible. They're charging you $80 to $90 for all this stuff, which is ridiculous. I'm sorry, it is ridiculous, though. It really is. I did not like that. I don't like how they're charging you so much money for all this stuff. It's ridiculous. Because, like you said, you gotta pay for the console, which I think is gonna be $450. The games are gonna be expensive. And some people are it's not no big deal. And I'm it is a big deal. Because that's expensive. A lot of people can't afford it. Sure, there's probably some people out there that can, but a lot of people cannot. And remember, this might be a little bit off topic, but remember when Disney did this with Disney World, remember? People were defending it and all that, saying, it's no big deal and all that. But they kept upping it more and more, and to the point where people barely can afford it at all. That's kind of how what's happening here. Obviously it's not going to be as expensive. They're not going to charge you almost $10,000 to go to this stuff, to do this stuff, but it's still expensive. It's still a lot more pricey than other stuff, And I'm just again, people just can't really afford this stuff too much, It's just kind of and the thing is, though, is Nintendo has done this before. They've done this with the 3DS. Remember, the 3DS was kind of expensive. Then they lowered the price on it and all that. But I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. I have a feeling Nintendo, I don't know, they might, if they're not getting the best sales. But I do know Nintendo is well, Nintendo's kind of gotten more greedy, in the last few years. I've told you that they shut down the shops, because we all know they shut down the shops, and they're making you pay online and all that, like, and for Switch Online, and then you got like the game stuff and all that. Which is, by the way, they're doing something with the games for the GameCube games. They're like making, but I'm like, you're having to pay, a month for this stuff, and even the Snapchat, I think you're having to pay Nintendo this stuff too, and all that, and I mean, you can't even go on the older consoles. Like, you have to have the newer consoles to freaking play this crap. Which you may be like, well, what's the big deal? Like, if you can just play the games on the Switch, then why does it matter? The problem is like, if you already own the damn games on the other consoles, you gotta pay freaking more money for these games. I'm like, well, why do I want to pay more money for these games when I already own them and I can play online and all that on the older consoles, or used to, before they shut them down. I mean, again, you can mod their systems, but like they're getting kind of pissy about that. But I'm like, again, if you're gonna charge people money for this stuff, then why can't you let people access the crap on the older consoles, like Xbox and PlayStation are doing? I don't understand that. But that's the thing, though. They're making you pay for the internet. They're making you pay for another SD card and all this. This is a lot of money. It's a freaking lot of money here. If you think about this too, like, to buy an SD card, I think I've seen some of them sell. They're kind of expensive. I think like 60 something bucks. I think maybe a little more than that. They're kind of expensive. And then you got like you paying like over around $90, like $80 to $90 for a game, and then the console itself, which by the way is already $400 and something dollars. You're going to be probably paying near $1,000 for all this stuff. I'm not kidding. And that's only counting one game. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. It's like, I mean, the console itself, I mean, a lot of consoles are kind of up there in price, but when you're paying online, or you're having to be forced to buy another SD card or pay for like internet and all that on these consoles, then you're pretty much just like, I don't know, it's just like, do people even want to go to another console, And that's the thing that, like I said, I was very looking forward to this. I was looking forward to having a new console and all that, but now I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to buy it. I don't know if I want to buy it or not. I'm like, if I already own the original Switch, why do I want to buy it? I mean, yeah, they're going to do add-ons of the other games, but again, I'm like, I don't know, a lot of the stuff doesn't look like it's very, it's worth, paying all this money for it, And like, I mean, they have like a Donkey Kong game and Metroid 4 coming out, which, those are popular game franchises that are releasing games. But I'm just like, for all of that's kind of ridiculous. Even if they released a Katamari game specifically for that, like, I wouldn't want to buy a Switch just to play the Katamari game. I'm like, why pay all that money when, I mean, that's a lot of money there for this stuff, I'm just like, I'm not kidding you. This is literally like adding up to pretty much $1,000. Like I said, it's because the console's gonna cost like $450, maybe more than that. They're talking about it maybe being more than that, which I'm like, if people are already complaining about it, wouldn't it make more sense to lower the prices, not to raise them? I don't know. But I know it's already going to be $450, and then, like I said, you got to buy a whole new SD card for it, and you got to pay for internet. I mean, you don't have to pay for internet, but a lot of these games, I think, actually use the, specific Wi-Fi and Nintendo, I mean, they think they have their own Wi-Fi, besides the internet. They actually have their own Wi-Fi you use for their stuff, and I'm just like, again, why would I want to pay all that? That's going to be expensive, But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of, like I said, it's just kind of crazy, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just Nintendo's got a lot of issues right now. Like I said, they're out there like freaking attacking people. They're attacking people, like, taking down videos. Like I've heard people that have gotten copyright claimed for showing game footage and all that, and I mean Nintendo is kind of always kind of skeptical about that stuff, but but as recently they've kind of gotten kind of greedier with that stuff. They're greedier with the games and accessing them and all that. They're getting kind of bad. I mean, it's not very good. Like, I want them to be a good company, but they're getting kind of corporate, like very corporate. Like a current corporate company, which I'm like, why? Like, why are so many of these damn companies so fucking garbage now? Like, why can't we have good companies anymore? Like we have companies that care about their customers and want to make good stuff. Like, I can't go out to a restaurant really anymore, A lot of restaurants are, don't, like, are, boring and don't care about their customers and all that. I can't watch movies anymore, without dealing with that crap. I can't do a lot of things. Like, I can't even go to stores a lot of times anymore without dealing with this crap, I'm just like, it's basically just like I said, we're paying all this money for crap, and then you got, like I said, a lot of these corporations are, like, taking away things people like, and I'm like, just give people what they want, like, I mean, I don't know, I'm just like, there's just so much crap going on at this point. I'm like, I don't even know what to say about this stuff, but Nintendo is one of those I said I really liked, and now I'm starting to kind of just, like, not care for their company as much anymore. Thing is, with Nintendo, though, I can always go back to the older games, But, I don't know, I mean, if they actually could lower the prices, then maybe I would get the Switch 2, but I mean, there's just so much more problems with the Nintendo company as a whole at this point. Like, they're not as, likable as they used to be, Like I said, they're taking down people's videos and Let's Plays and all that, which I want to clarify that they are, like, people who Let's Play games, by the way, that actually gets people wanting to buy more games, Because I used to watch people, well, my dad play some games, and but because he didn't play games that I wanted to watch, I watched some people, and I've actually bought some games that I've watched people play before, And so have other people, So I'm like, doing all this stuff. It's just like, again, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with all this crap. It's just crazy. But yeah, I'm like, you guys can buy a Switch 2 all you want, but if it's cost a bunch of money, just remember this. Like, other companies like Disney, like I said, has done this stuff too. Like, and because people were greedy and paying more stuff, like more money on this stuff, it gives the company more of a reason to keep upping the price. I mean, I'm not saying everybody who does this stuff is, like, greedy, because some people just want to have fun, but a lot of times people just don't care and just, want to just blow all their money on this stuff. And some people, like I said, will go out of their way to, like, just like, drain their bank account to get this stuff too. That's what's so crazy. But, I don't know. But, like I said, we'll see what happens with this stuff, because I actually was gonna upload the other video, because I talked about this before, but there's so much more going on now with this stuff. Not to mention, I haven't brought up that Nintendo themselves have come out and said, respond to this criticism, and or don't seem to be really doing much of a favor with this stuff. I don't know. I mean, it looks like they delayed the stuff a little bit more back. So people who pre-order the stuff, I think, are not getting their games right now, or their consoles. So I don't know, maybe they might lower the prices, I don't know, because they need to lower the prices, because if they don't lower the prices, this could be another Wii U situation. I mean, I don't think it'll probably sell as bad as the Wii U, just because it's also a handheld console, Well, the Wii U kind of was too, but the Wii U, you couldn't take the pad everywhere. But the Wii U at least held up very well. Like, I think Like, it didn't have the best library of games, but the console itself, I think, held up very well. Like, there are some problems with that. Like I said, you got the pad and all, not being able to take it anywhere, and then the fact that there is that whole deaf console thing. But to be fair to a lot of consoles that are doing that, like, or they're not like shutting down like that, I don't think. But I've had problems where, like, I'm noticing the Switch 2 or the Switch 1, the Joy-Cons are starting to disconnect. They're not staying in place as easily. So yeah, this is, but I mean, I don't know. But like I said, I don't really, like, I don't know what's gonna happen here, but I'm just like, this is just so stupid how expensive this crap is getting, and I'm just like, I mean, people are gonna have to pay for groceries and their bills and all that, I'm just like, people cannot afford this stuff. I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of fun, you want to have something fun to do, like, because, having fun things to do keeps your mind occupied off of the struggling, parts of the world, and if you're dealing with a struggling life, like, I actually told you guys that, like, I kind of grew up kind of a rough kind of childhood a bit, and I would play these games to get my mind off of it. But that said, though, I'm like, would you want to be paying all this money for all this stuff when you gotta pay for groceries and all that too, I don't know. But that said, though, I'm gonna go ahead and let things go from here. I'll see you guys all later. Anywho, bye-bye.